With the recent release of Monster Hunter Rise on PlayStation and Xbox, as well as this interesting card artwork from Teppen, I thought it would be interesting to kind of power scale / tier list the Elder Dragons of Monster Hunter. The card in question, if you're wondering, is called Legend Eater, and the flavor text reads, "The Eater of Legends glared at the black dragon below, and the rubble cracked under the force of its claws. By then it was too late for its prey. The devourer sprang from its perch with a powerful leap, beginning the ambush." This I wouldn't consider canon, but it drove forward my thoughts about making this video. I'll be comparing all the Elder Dragons that appear in the English releases of the Monster Hunter games, as this makes it easier for me to find and read the information. This includes Monster Hunter Freedom, Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, 3 Ultimate, 4 Ultimate, Generations Ultimate, World Iceborne, and Rise Sunbreak. I will not be using the Arch-Tempered or Risen versions of the Elder Dragons that have those forms on this list, but I will be including the subspecies and variants. And just because a monster is ranked higher on the list than another monster doesn't mean that a lower ranked monster couldn't defeat it. There's matchups and actual physical size to be considered when talking about a fight between any two given creatures. With that, the tiers will be broken up into World Breaker. These are essentially unstoppable beasts that could destroy the world if they chose to. Ecological Disaster. These creatures pose a significant threat to life in all forms. Fort Destroyers. Elders that can cause chaos in a wide area. These would be essentially uncontested by non-Elder Dragons. True Elders. These are your standard Elder Dragons. Only exceptionally powerful monsters can stand up to these beasts. And Elders by classification. Not significantly more dangerous than other monsters, but are instead classified this way because of their unique ecology. Let's get into it, starting from the bottom. Precious few sightings of this Elder Dragon have been recorded, leading to claims that it can vanish into its environment like a chameleon, hence its name. Witnesses report that it can spew a fog-like breath which seems to come out of nowhere. The Mist Dragon, Chameleos, is a wiggly guy. It doesn't pose a destructive threat with its awkward movements and poison breath attacks. It also doesn't even have turf wars, meaning it doesn't have the instinct to make a claim to turf to defend with the ferocity that more powerful elders do. Elder Dragons, so rarely sighted that little is known of their ecology, though everyone knows of the high prices that Kirin parts fetch. It's been said that they are one with lightning itself, and that their bodies become clothed in pure electricity when they are provoked. The Phantom Beast, Kirin, is the smallest Elder Dragon and the smallest large monster in the series. It boasts the ability to control lightning. This Elder ranks so low because it stands no chance against Rajang and doesn't really do much that you wouldn't expect from its size. Reliable sightings of these elusive creatures are virtually non-existent. The few reports available claim that temperatures plummet whenever they appear, as all moisture in the air spontaneously freezes. Orochi Kirin is a subspecies of Kirin and has a similar power to Volcana, but on a much smaller scale. Couple that with its small size, and it's the third weakest Elder Dragon. A grotesque Elder Dragon that inhabits the deepest part of the Rotten Vale. It uses the fatal vapor of the Vale in what appears to be a symbiotic relationship. The Corpse Coat Dragon, Valhazark, isn't a physically impressive Elder Dragon, instead using the effluvium as its main form of attack. This substance can drain the life force of things it comes into contact with, but won't necessarily be enough to help its relatively small stature and weak body. A Valhazark variant encrusted with spores that spew a torrent of toxic effluvium at any who draw close. Black Veil Valhazark is essentially the same as its standard counterpart, but isn't exclusively found in the Rotten Vale. And the fungus on its body that randomly sprays effluvium causes it to be a little more unpredictable. Not strictly stronger, but more varied in its abilities, hence its higher spot than its normal counterpart. An elder dragon that floats through the sky. A bite of earth, a drink of forest, it's a veritable god of the sky made of the richest soil. Ancient trees grow thick on its back like a mountain. It's rumored to live near a forlorn, remote tower. Floating mountain dragon, Yamasukami is pretty nasty with its human-like teeth and oddly shaped body. Capable of sucking in lighter foes with its powerful breath to chomp with its jaws, it just uses its tentacles to slap enemies about. An elder dragon coated with water and able to freely control lightning. A unique organ allows it to pump electricity into the pools of water it creates, causing massive bursts of steam. The abyssal dragon, Namiel, rounds out the top of this tier. Its attacks are rather small scale and it isn't very physically impressive, much as I love its design and equipment. In this tier, many of the monsters are very relative in strength, so it was difficult to properly gauge which is unequivocally stronger than the others, so consider the next few entries as even in power. It's difficult to even get close to one of these metallic dragons, but some claim better odds if the creature is weakened with poison, or has a hunter on its back, limiting the amount of wind pressure it can muster. The steel dragon, Kushlodora, is a metal dragon. Kushlodora is a metal dragon with the ability to control wind. It often uses this ability to surround itself with high wind pressure to negate projectile attacks. It is quite physically impressive, but no more impressive than any of the following creatures. Rusted Kushlodora is a variant of Kushlodora. It unfortunately lacks a proper hunting log entry and is, just like its normal version, only more aggressive. Brutal elder dragons, clothed in flame that spit blazing fire. Teostra are of such fierce and deadly nature that the guild keeps track of their movements whenever possible. The Emperor of Flame Teostra. These are very territorial creatures, certainly more dangerous than a Kushlodora, but not more physically powerful. Their fire is nothing to scoff at either. Their powerful supernova attack is known to put a dent in many a hunter's health. A rare female elder dragon that litters the air with hot blue dust. Reports of it travelling with her mate Teostra are unconfirmed. The Empress of Flame, Lunastra, is the female counterpart to Teostra. The two, when fighting together, can create massive AoE attacks, much more fierce during its mating season. These elders are where they begin to become a cut above the rest. An elder dragon said to freeze all in its path. According to legend, it can control the cold and use its freezing breath to conjure massive spires of ice out of nowhere. The iceborn wyvern, Velkana, has the ability to freeze other monsters solid and create a large amount of ice from just the moisture in the air around it, not to mention its sturdy ice armor and blade-like tail that it uses with finesse and dexterity. A dragon covered with elegant silver scales, it uses the Kurio to drain life force of other living creatures, creeping around at night and attacking its prey from behind. It appears almost regal to start with, but after draining enough energy it can turn into a violent, fresh blood crimson. This form is known as the Bloodening, and is widely feared. The Silver Duke Dragon, Malzeno, controls the Kurio, small creatures that siphon the life force out of the prey. This energy can be absorbed to further strengthen the creature, allowing it to teleport. This is in addition to its agile yet powerful attacks. It also has a similar tail to Velkana, which it uses in much the same fashion, with the added benefit of being able to grab things with its tip. Frighteningly little is known about this elder dragon whose appetite can devastate surrounding ecosystems. After covering its prey in a repulsive mucus, it has been seen dragging them back to feast in its macabre nest of bones and undulating darkness, known as Wyvern's End. The corpse dragon, Nakakos, uses its powerful tentacles to coat itself in the bones of its victims, protecting its softer flesh. It's mostly seen manipulating these tentacles to look like two dragon heads that can fire projectiles. A known predator of young Cedius, but in its turn is preyed upon by the adults. Comparable to Deviljo, but semi-aquatic and much stronger. An elder dragon that soars at very high altitudes far from human habitation. Its flaming red wings are often the only visible sign of it, giving rise to its nickname, the Argent Comet. Those wings aren't just for flying though, and are easily used to stab, rend, and blow away its enemies. Occasionally, one can find the scorched shells it has left behind. The Sky Comet Dragon, Veilstone, is the Rocket Dragon. It is incredibly fast, and uses its wings and agile frame to slice and dice its opponents, in addition to being able to channel the powerful dragon element into explosive blasts. A mutant Veilstone, fearsomely dubbed the Crimson Glow. This elder dragon typically secludes itself in the upper atmosphere, but it has been driven mad by its own rampant energy, causing it to lash out at anything in sight. Once it sights its prey, it swoops down, trampling them beneath its shifting wing blades. Several have been sighted all over, so be prepared to encounter one at any time. The Comet of Doom, Crimson Glow Veilstone, is much more aggressive than its normal counterpart, and definitely more powerful. It has gained the ability to fire its dragon element as projectiles and as a massive beam attack, while retaining the dangerous wing attacks. Here, I'd like to put the xeno'jiva in a tier of their own. This elder and its variant showcase a monstrous strength and are either highly intelligent or functionally immortal, depending on how you interpret certain events in Monster Hunter World. At the end of the Iceborne expansion, the player defeats Ruin and xeno'jiva before facing the final boss. After its defeat, xeno'jiva gets back with a steel chair and finishes the beast off. So it either was smart enough to play dead, or kinda came back to life. There's also the thought that this Ruin and xeno'jiva is the same one that tried to attack Zora Magdaros back in the base game, which would play into the thought that it has a very strong regeneration factor allowing it to come back from the dead. A terrible elder dragon that appears when other elders are in the vicinity, its penchant for destruction is well documented. The extinction dragon, xeno'jiva. This ravenous beast is one of the most physically powerful monsters known relative to its size. It is capable of literally throwing similarly sized elders across the ground. It seems to be highly durable too, as it shrugs off most attacks. Even being wounded won't stop the Eater of Elders, as it has a powerful regeneration ability that both heals its wounds and grows its spikes into their harder black form. Though we definitely saw it was willing, we can't determine if xeno'jiva would truly have been able to kill Zora Magdaros, or if it was merely planning to scavenge its remains. Countless battles have hardened this xeno'jiva variant. In addition to healing, its spikes grow tougher as it loses health. The extinction dragon, Ruin and xeno'jiva. This variant is physically similar to its normal counterpart, but grows tough metal spikes that cause bleeding. Male elder dragon that exhibits inexplicable behaviors such as floating upside down midair. Research indicates that the emission of a special gas from all over its body and the modulation of this gas is what allows it to move freely. It shoots air from gills on its arms and tail to fly, creating its own turbulence and soaring to great heights. The serpent god of wind, Wind Serpent Ibushi. This monster is hugely impactful on the world around it, creating storms infused with the dragon element while searching for its mate. Monsters that survive attacks from Ibushi can become powerful apex monsters that wreak havoc. An elder dragon, and Wind Serpent Ibushi's queen. Its thunder sacs glow with accumulated electrical charge. It is thought that these organs therefore generate the powerful magnetic field that lifts the creature and anything around it high into the air. The serpent goddess of thunder, Thunder Serpent Nawa, is similar in structure to Ibushi, but is larger and uses lightning and electromagnetism rather than wind. Legendary elder dragons known as both Shining Giants of the Depths and Great Sea Dragons. Not confirmed to exist until recently. The Moga quakes were due to Asedius butting its abnormally long horns into the earth. The ocean dragon, Cedius, are very large elders but are confined to the seas. They can create powerful currents by sucking in and then blowing out a vast amount of water. Its physical strength is its biggest boast, as it butting the earth with its horns caused the ground to tremor violently enough that it was thought to be earthquakes. A rarely seen subspecies of Cedius confirmed to exist deep within the ocean ruins. The golden light they cast in the dark depths befits a creature of such legendary status. Sadly, little is known about their relationship to the standard Cedius. The Emperor Ocean Dragon, Goldbeard Cedius, is essentially the same as its normal counterpart, but with two large horns of even size that seem to impair its vision, theorized by some to be a matured specimen. A legendary Elder Dragon spotted on Sacred Pinnacle, an avatar of storms in the folklore of Yukumo Village, Amatsu's appearance is accompanied by furious cyclones and horrific storms. Its fearsome power is said to outscale that of natural disasters. The storm dragon, Amatsu's presence, is accompanied by a violent storm that won't relent until the beast is defeated. A true storm dragon, it can fire powerful water jets and tornadoes. Similar in structure to a bushi, but can create much more vicious storms. A giant dragon that has only rarely been sighted. It periodically prowls close to inhabited areas, and the damage it causes is comparable to that wreaked by a natural disaster. Its habits are a mystery, and no one knows why it occasionally wanders. The guild has built defensive barricades where they appear, but to what effect? The old mountain dragon, lao-shan, is a colossal beast at nearly 70 meters long. It's very powerful and highly durable, known to barrel through villages and forts with ease thanks to its sheer size and bulk. The Rocky Mountain Dragon, Ashen lao-shan, is a variant of lao-shan. It unfortunately lacks a proper hunting log entry. It is essentially the same as its normal counterpart, but is much more durable thanks to its coating of volcanic ash. Coated in a thick, sticky fluid, this massive Elder Dragon appears unhindered by the Dragonator lodged in its back. Eyewitness reports suggest that despite its massive size, this mysterious behemoth is indeed capable of flight. The giant halberd dragon, Gogmazios, is the largest creature capable of flight that we know of. It primarily feeds on sulfur and gunpowder, often breaking into human-occupied forts to gorge itself. Clearly durable and powerful, as we see a Dragonator lodged into its back from a failed attempt to repel the hulking thing. It drips an oil-like substance that it can also fire from its mouth at high temperature. Rare ore can be mined from these enormous dragons' backs. Thus they are considered prosperity symbols. They swallow vast amounts of organic material and are always surrounded by scavenging delecs, which sailors use to locate them. The Peak Mountain Dragon, Zhenmuran, is a massive beast, even larger than lao-shan, yet still very fast when in the Great Desert, its home. It has enormous tusks it can use to face against hunters that man the dragon ships needed for traversing the vast sandy seas. A subspecies of Zhenmuran, whose appearance has been likened to a crystal shimmering in the darkness. It inspires such awe and wonder that news of a sighting draws a stampede of hunters from across the land. The Soul Mountain Dragon, Hallowed Zhenmuran, is equally as huge as its normal form, but more powerful and resilient. Colossal elder dragons that swim through the Great Desert, smashing obstacles with their spiral horns. Their unique colour comes from the thick layer of oxidized metals and other rare minerals that lodge in their hides over their long lives. The huge mountain dragon, Darin Moran. Boy, there really were a lot of mountain dragons in a row. This creature is extremely similar to Zhenmuran and is fought in a similar fashion. It's difficult to rank these Goliaths against each other, but I'll give Darin here the highest spot here because I think it looks more fearsome. An elder dragon that protects itself with a glittering coat of metal. Its ecology and coat differ with each appearance, thus the need for a thorough investigation. The Mother Goddess of Gold, Kul'Taroth, is another large elder, extremely strong and very durable when coated in its mantle of gold. Kul'Taroth also has the ability to breathe superheated air hot enough to instantly melt gold. When uncloaked from her mantle, she becomes very quick for her size. This is a bit of a debated entry for me. I feel as though she could be ranked in the previous tier, but then I consider just how heavy gold is and how high her breath temperature would need to be to melt gold almost instantly. Whether or not she truly belongs here, she is a absolutely formidable beast. A form taken by Gormagala once they mature and molt. Gorgeous, glittering scales cover Shigara and Magala, and their divine wings are large enough to wrap around their entire body. According to records, one was once said to have scattered its black scales over an area the size of a mountain, annihilating any and all life forms inhabiting that region. Heaven's Wheel, Shigara and Magala. This elder dragon is rather small, but what it lacks in size it makes up for in destructive capacity. It spreads the frenzy virus across its territory. This has the dual effect of killing monsters in Shigara's area, and is how it breeds. Its parasitic young grow inside of monsters affected by the frenzy and feed on them before emerging. This doesn't affect elder dragons in-game, but it's not clearly stated that it cannot affect them. Shigara Magala is agile, strong enough to crush the ground, and presumably dexterous, as well as capable of firing powerful dragon elemental blasts that afflict those hit with frenzy virus. This monster is the definition of an ecological disaster. Having absorbed the life force of her king, Nalma has transformed and become imbued with new power. She now possesses Ibushi's mastery over wind as well as her own control over thunder, and lusts for utter annihilation. The source of the rampage, Nalma the Allmother. She is an extraordinarily powerful monster, aggressive and fiercely protective of her young, capable of easily defeating elder dragons like Kushladora, Teostra, and Malzeno. Her manipulation of electromagnetic forces seems to be heightened in this state, as her attacks become enhanced, becoming larger and more damaging. She also gains the ability to pull up multiple dragonated drills from the ground to attack hunters during her encounter. A gargantuan monster living in the darkest depths since the ancient times. Geismagorm's rock-like forearms boast tenacious strength which allows it to burrow underground. It has a symbiotic relationship with the Kurio and feeds on their life force for energy. Once it has chosen a place to nest, it collapses the surrounding rock bed to create an opening to the surface. The opening forms a massive crater in which it releases the Kurio through. The Archdemon of the Abyss, Geismagorm, is the true host of the Kurio, as it states in the entry. Geismagorm sends the Kurio out from the earth to drain the life force of other creatures for itself. The demon is massive in size, its gaping maw capable of sucking in foes from a great distance, and its powerful arms it uses to drag itself up from its burrow. Not lacking in element, this elder dragon can fire Kurio energy from its mouth that violently explodes. It's certainly durable too, as in its introductory cutscene it can be seen to bat away a dragonator fired from Admiral Gallius's ship, and to rip another out of its hide. It truly is a demon. An elder dragon that rises from the earth like a volcano. Where it's headed, and why, the research commission is yet to figure out. The scorching mountain dragon, Zor Magdaros. This titanic monster towers over all the previous entries, more than doubling the size of Gen Moran. It can blast bombs around itself and release energy from its magma cores to deter attacks. But this isn't really something that it needs. Due to its sheer bulk, any blockade would have a hard time fending off one of these if it truly wanted to get somewhere. A new species discovered in the depths of the Elder's Recess. Its relationship to the other Elder Dragons is unclear, as is its ecology. The Dark Light Dragon, Xeno'jiva, is the immature form of safi'jiva. This creature, being a newborn, does not have great control over its powers, lashing out with powerful dragon attacks. These attacks can cause the ground itself to erupt with energy, immediately taken care of by the guild due to the danger it would pose were it to mature. A huge elder dragon, massive beyond human comprehension. The only mention of its existence is found in fairy tales, which claim it can wrap the very surface of the world and level mountains with a single twitch. The Serpent King Dragon, Dalamadur. This tyrant of the land is the largest monster to appear in an English localized game. It clocks in at 44,039 centimeters. That's about 4.8 football fields for the American audience. This inconceivably large monster is capable of paralyzing using its saliva and shooting blue flames to attack, even shooting them up into the sky to rain down upon thee. Its colossal size leads it to be a danger on an unprecedented scale. A Dalamadur subspecies easily identified by the red spines lining its back. Although they were once thought to exist only in legend, multiple sightings in the last few years have led many to fear Shah Dalamadur as an omen of grave things to come. The Serpent Emperor Dragon, Shah Dalamadur, is much the same as its normal version, but, like most species, is more durable and powerful. Shah Dalamadur is also capable of setting the arena on fire with its attacks. A mysterious elder dragon able to manipulate the earth itself. Vibrations from its wingtips reshape the earth, denying hunters footing. The old everworm, Shah Ishvalda. Shah is capable of covering itself in a thick rocky armor that wards off most attacks and provides a lot of mass to its otherwise frail-looking frame. When freed from this, it becomes highly aggressive and able to manipulate the land around it more freely, able to turn the ground itself into sand and bring up towering walls of rock. It can also manipulate its powers of vibration to make something resembling a beam to attack at longer ranges. It should not be underestimated. Known as a symbol of destruction, people fear even uttering its name. It's rumoured to control all of the elements, but most, if not all, records of its existence have been burned. The Blazing Black Dragon, Elatrion, is a volatile elder dragon that has the ability to control all the elements. Unstable and described as living natural disasters. Elatrion is capable of breathing fire, ice, and an oily substance that inflicts water blight, as well as producing lightning and dragon elements from its body. Part of a dangerous group of elder dragons referred to as dangerous first-class monsters, or black dragons. These monsters are exceptionally powerful and mysterious. The fully grown form of xeno'jiva. It absorbs energy from its environment to heal itself and change the ecosystem. The red dragon, safi'jiva. This is Monster Hunter World's first dangerous first-class monster. It wields similar powers to its young counterpart, but now has a tougher hide and greater control over its powers. It's gained the ability to heal itself by drawing in energy from its surroundings. It fires concentrated beams of dragon energy that scorch the ground. Its most impressive attack is what's referred to as the Sapphire of the Emperor. The Admiral guesses that no monster could withstand such an attack. A legendary black dragon known only as Fatalis, rumoured to have destroyed a kingdom in a single night and has taken its castle for a roost. The black dragon, Fatalis. This is an elder dragon that even other elders fear. It is ferocious and extremely powerful, capable of blasting vast amounts of flame to engulf an area or accurately shooting explosive projectiles. It's intelligent enough to spite hunters that would challenge it by melting their armor to itself as a cruel mockery of what hunters do to other monsters. Some legends consider this great dragon to be the devil fated to destroy the world, while others claim it's the giant who birthed creation. Is there any way for mere humans to quell its unending rage? The Smelting Black Dragon, Diamoralis. This is the largest of the black dragons. Its body is of a similar frame to Fatalis, but much larger. Its size gives it great strength and bulk. It's also able to fire meteors from its back to rain down upon the earth and shoot fireballs from its mouth. It lives in the Tainted Sea, presumably tainted from this monster's presence as it seems to use the water to regulate its temperature. The Crimson Dragon, Crimson Fatalis. Unfortunately, Crimson Fatalis lacks a hunting log entry. This dragon is not in fact red in colour, but glows red with rage. It's much the same as Black Fatalis, but is far angrier and more aggressive. Its powerful fire breath is more potent, and it gains the ability to rain meteors from the sky, as well as releasing a powerful wave of heat from its wings. An ancient evil awakens. the ancestral dragon White Fatalis. Much older and more powerful than its kin. White Fatalis commands red lightning, able to produce it, breathe it, and imbue its melee attacks with the energy. It also has access to a powerful attack that will instantly card a player if they're hit by it. This is truly the Elder that stands above all others. That concludes the tier list. Let me know what you think. I have a link to the tier maker in the description, as well as a paste bin that details all of the footage that helped me reach my conclusions and the original videos from other creators that I use snippets of in this. Please check out their content if you made it this far, as I would not have been able to make this without them. This took quite a lot of time and quite a lot of work, so it would mean a lot to me to see it shared around. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.